Right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Township of Lopatcong Council meeting for November 2nd, 2022 to order. I would ask that everyone please bow their head for a moment of silence. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, by advertising a notice in the Star Ledger in the Express Times of Warren County Zone, and by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Yes, Councilman Del Councilman Wade.
Here.
Councilman Polito.
Here.
Council President.
Billy, you there?
Yep, here, I'm sorry.
Mayor.
Here. Before I get into the public comment on agenda items only, I do have a proclamation tonight for someone who was about to turn 100 years old, and I think that's obviously a very special time and a very special person to have lived that long. So if June Pace is here, I'm going to come down and give her a proclamation. I gotta get there. June, how you doing? You could sit down, please. There's no need for you to get up. I have a proclamation here for you. It says, whereas June B. Pace was born on November 23rd, 1922 in Indiana, and whereas June has lived in Lopatcong Township for 35 years, and whereas June, this coming November 23rd, 2022, June will be celebrating her 100th birthday. And whereas during her long, admirable lifetime, she has accomplished being an avid reader, writer, local genealogist, and the treasurer of the local daughters of American Revolution, PAR. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Township of Lopatcong, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, to give an honor and a pleasure to extend to June a sincere congratulations and best wishes on reaching the milestone of 100 years young. Thank you very much. It is my honor to live another 100.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
You don't have to stick around for the meeting unless you'd like to, but.
I'm gonna take her, she should be in the street by now.
But again, my honor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Going out.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Thank you again, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Thank
you. Faster than me.
Such a nice honor, thank you.
I'm 64, I don't move that well. So, anyway, these are some of the neat things you get to do as mayor. I could show you a couple pictures from Saturday where I was down at Dunkin' Donuts and had the opportunity to have my picture taken with the blow-up donut, the blow-up cup of coffee for their grand reopening. So that was a nice affair also. So some neat things that you get to do sitting in this chair. All right, having said all that, do we have any public comment on the agenda items only? Don?
Donna Schneider, 26 Meadowview. I just have a question about the, are you going to go over what the ordinance is, the first one for brush, grass, weeds? Like, is that including the trees and everything else in the township as well, or is that just like lawn mowing?
Height of grass.
Height of grass, okay. So it's not your,
It's adding to what's already on the books.
okay. And wastewater management, Paul will go over that as well when you get to that one, or?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Questions, comments, agenda items only? John?
John Betts, Berkeley Gardens, 225 Red School Lane. I'd just like to know if somebody can explain which streets are going to be included in this ordinance 2022-11. When it comes up for the right, you know.
Yes, we'll let you know.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Anyone else? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move into old business. Number one are the minutes of the October 5th, 2022 executive and regular sessions. Gentlemen, if you've had the time to look at them, are there any changes? Hearing and seeing none, have a motion on number one.
Motion. Second.
Councilman Belcaro?
Yes.
Councilman McLean?
Yes.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Council President Ray?
Yes.
Mayor Mendicino?
Yes. Under new business, number one, best practices. Can you fill us in on that?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Every year at this time, the state, actually Division of Local Government Services, puts out this inventory. And every year they concentrate or emphasize on certain things. We get scored by it, and the total possible score this year is 36.5. LoPac scored a 32, which is fine. If you fall below the 24, they will take some state aid away from you. So they're very serious about this. The questions vary. This year, there was a lot of emphasis, and some questions are scored and some are not scored. There was a lot of emphasis on lead-based inspections, and if we're going to be purchasing electric cars, do we have the charging stations, and that kind of stuff. And then it's your basic, did you adopt your budget within a timely manner? But we usually score very well on this, so 32 out of 36.5. Some things are just out of our control, so we have to discuss it at a meeting.
Do you have an example of what might be out of our control?
Let's see.
Well, we've never had a problem with this, I just wondered.
Let's see. Well, definitely the electric cars,
Mhm.
the charging stations.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, public vehicles. If we have a formal policy to purchase hybrid or alternative fuel vehicles, that kind of
So stuff
stuff.
we can
If
work
we
on.
have a municipal ethics board, no, so we don't get any credit for that.
Okay,
So
right.
it's just a hodgepodge of different
As long as
things.
we're not losing any.
Nope, we're good.
All right. Any motion on that?
No, it just means we have to discuss it at a public meeting.
All right, number two is, number 22-10, first reading of amend and supplement section 81-1 of chapter 81 entitled brush, grass, and weeds to impose height restrictions for grass and other vegetation, and amending and supplementing section 81-3 to authorize code enforcement of sections A through E of section 81-1. I said a lot. You all go with the explanation?
I have a question. Is there a problem in town with this sort of stuff, with the grass being too high? I don't know.
I've seen some places myself, yeah. So, I think it's a good thing to put in there. Not a lot.
It's requested the zoning official.
It's requested by a zoning official. So who's going to enforce this?
Zoning official.
He is.
And what, he sees grass too high? And what is that length? I don't know.
11?
11 inches? That's pretty tall.
8, over 8.
8 inches tall.
All right? Yes, go ahead.
What if it's not correct?
Prevent any growth of grass, poison ivy, poison sumac, and other plant or vegetable growth that may affect the health and safety of the township's residents.
So if it's, like a,
Could be weeds.
well, I'm not saying it's not weed, but there's stuff on highways, it's wild. the alternative to a law on why that was
That might be up for interpretation, case by case, I think.
That's why I left.
You know, some people like weeds.
Yeah, I agree with that. I understand.
Good question. Yes.
If you have a neighbor that, because of health reasons, has a hard time keeping it groomed, and it really is bad. 8 inches would be good, in good shape. Can you make reference to that without drawing any fines or problems for the person? Like have an official statement, would you please, or do you need help?
You could probably call it, we could have our zoning officer check it out, yeah.
So if you bring it to the zoning officer, you're not, I wouldn't want to get anybody in trouble.
Yeah. Like I said, it almost has to be a case by case. I mean, there are certain, again, just from my riding around, which I do on occasion, there are places that I know are in violation of that. That's just the way they keep their property, so, it will be, again, it's gotta be case by case.
So they get, they'd be notified and not.
Would probably be notified, yes.
I'm sure there's some discretion involved. in
Yeah.
Something like that. Are we talking about the whole of personal property? Like I've seen homes where the backyard is, you can't see what's in there. You're talking about the whole backyard, not just the front yard?
No.
The whole property?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to be clear on it.
And
Better comment
normally,
on that.
yeah, normally a zoning officer will give you a warning first and say, hey, I don't want to write a violation, but you've got, this is where you know, are falling short, and then give them an opportunity to rectify it. That's the way it normally works, and if they don't, then they will get the violation.
Okay, that's what
All right.
Brian?
You know, we have a rule that they're supposed to approach the podium,
Yeah.
give their name and their address, so I'd like everybody to stick to that, please.
That's my fault. Go ahead, Brian. Okay.
Okay. Brian Weeks, 208 South 7th Street. I know people that have the tall grass, all right, it's their decorative, it's their walls. All right, I mean, are you gonna, you're gonna say grass, I mean, how are we gonna?
I think we're
designate the
jumping
difference?
to conclusions here.
That's what I'm saying. If
It's
you put an
gonna
ordinance, it's gotta
case by
be-
case, and let's just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
All right? Because you can discuss this all. Anyway, you have a motion on number 2?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Beltrán?
Yes.
Councilman McQueen?
Yes.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Council President Ray?
Yes.
Mayor Mabry?
Yes. Ordinance number 22-11, first reading to amend, revise, and supplement chapter 227, vehicles and traffic, including section 20, vehicles over designated weight excluded from certain streets.
I can describe it, Mayor.
Paul? Go ahead.
As you know, there's a lot of truck traffic in this area, including ones that are overweight, and they're going on municipal roads where there are weight restrictions. And what has happened, we're having difficulty, even though we have this load restriction or ordinance, in enforcing it, because the only law enforcement agency that's allowed to weigh a vehicle that we believe to be overweight is the state police. So the police chief who's in the audience tonight and I have been working with the state police to try to work around that. And what we were advised is if we change the ordinance to refer to the gross vehicle weight rating of a vehicle, that would eliminate the need to bring the state police in to verify the weight of a vehicle, which is going to be very difficult given the premium that they have on their time. And just so everybody's aware, the gross vehicle weight rating is the maximum allowable weight of a fully loaded vehicle, including passengers and cargo. And there is a stamp inside the vehicle on every vehicle that indicates what the gross vehicle weight rating is. So it's visible. Somebody in law enforcement can look at that sticker that's in the car and see what the gross vehicle weight rating is. It doesn't require a scale. So that's what this tweak is all about, so that we can enforce where we have to overweight vehicles on these roads that we have load restrictions on. And I know John just asked, what roads are we talking about? And we're not expanding upon those roads right now. They're already in the ordinance. We're talking about Baltimore Street between Red School Lane and Strikers Road, Baltimore Street between South First Street and the Hillcrest Mall, Belvedere Road from Belvedere Road to Strikers Road, Charles Road between Belvedere Road and Red School Lane, Cromwell Street between South First Street and the Hillcrest Shopping Mall, Lowe's Hollow Road from County Route 519 to the intersection of Lowe's Hollow Road and Reservoir Road, and finally Marble Hill Road from the intersection of Marble Hill Road and River Road northeasterly to the Harmony Township municipal boundary. So those are the roads that have load restrictions, and we're not changing that, but we're changing it to gross vehicle weight rating instead of just having a 4-ton load restriction on it to try to enforce the ordinance. So that's what this ordinance is all about. I don't know if the chief wants to add anything to what I just said, but.
No, it's not accurate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Motion?
Motion. Second.
Councilman Belcarro,
Yes.
Councilman Quaid,
Yes.
Councilman Polito,
Yes.
Council President Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Mendez.
Yes. All right, number 4, to award a tree inventory proposal and to authorize Davy Research Group to proceed with that tree inventory, at cost of $42,300, which we got.
So we received a grant from the state for around 46,000. So, we had, one, RFP come in for 42.3, so they're well within, that, grant. And they're gonna perform a tree inventory, GIS service and management, planning for township trees. So, we need you to execute the contract of, the award to proceed, upon the attorney's, full review. Okay?
All right. Motion on that?
Motion. Second.
Councilman Belcarro,
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Mendez.
Yes. Number 5 is the Warren County Municipal Christmas Tree Contest. Do we want to get involved in that? With the decorated trees, taking the Belvedere or whatever we're doing?
Yeah, so, December 9th or 10th, you can, so the county will reimburse up to $200 for the tree to stand in the decoration. So they're running this little contest. And so the 9th or the 10th of December, you can take this up to, they're called the Warren County Winterfest, to the Garrett D. Wall Park in Belvedere, where you will set up this tree, and they have plenty of electricity, they said, you can set it all up. And then you gotta break it down on the 10th at the end of the day and bring it back and put it somewhere in your municipality. And this is all a dry run, so to speak, as their bicentennial celebration is the 24th and 25th of 2024 and 25. So they'll be, holding this type of a contest, again. So if we want to participate, we're more than welcome to do so.
John? You want to participate?
Who's gonna do it?
Usually the guy that's not here, that would be Bill. I nominate Bill to run the.
Second.
That was fast.
There you are, buddy, you're on. You still with me, Bill? You did one.
I missed out on that one. I missed it.
Well, that's okay, we'll tell you when you get back. Just nod your head.
Raise your hand.
We don't need to take any action on it.
No, it's just an announcement, that, we're gonna participate.
All right. Number 6 is a wastewater management plan authorizing the disturbance to work with the Highlands to update the plan. Paul?
Yes, Mayor, we have an adopted wastewater management plan. It was adopted in early 2012. These documents have to be updated periodically, specifically every 10 years. The Highlands Council, because we're in the Highlands region, is doing that work. They're taking the lead. However, there are certain inputs that they need from the township. We had a meeting last week. When I say we, I'm talking about George Ritter and myself with them. So there's certain work that has to be done to move this process along and to get the plan finalized. So I brought this to Beth's attention, and that's why it's on the agenda tonight, so I can get your authorization to do that work.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Valcarro,
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Mengucci.
Yes. Number 7 is to authorize Mayor Mengucci to execute proposal for codification service with general code in the amount of $6,480. Beth, you want to explain that?
Yes, so, Township's code was originally codified in 1992. It's been supplemented over 56 times. And over all those years, there's, sometimes inconsistencies, errors, and outdated information. So, I'm recommending that, we have them do, an editorial legal analysis of our code, make sure everything is lined up the way it's supposed to be.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Mengucci.
Yes, number 8 is for council to authorize a letter of intent to purchase equipment for the DPW to meet the manufacturer's production timeframe. So what are we doing, Brian? Basically getting in line?
Yeah, what you're doing is you're saying that you, what it amounts to is if we don't purchase trucks by November 14th or have an intent to purchase them, to let them know you will not get them for approximately 2 years. All right, so in that time frame, that's the 2 that will not make it. All right, so either move or,
I can't commit because it's gonna be a 2023,
Purchase.
ordinance. So letter of intent,
Okay.
the manufacturer, we just need to buy in that when the capital plan comes about, that these items are on there and they're okay with it.
Who's the company, Brian? Is it GM, Ford?
that's Ford.
Ford.
And they're all, Ford's got the Morris County Co-op and ESC and J's got the bodies.
All right,
All through co-ops.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Mengucci.
Yes, the consent agenda, items 1 through 11. Anybody have, anything they want to pull? Hearing and seeing none, can I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Mengucci.
Yes. Council reports. Rick, you got anything?
I do not, Mayor.
All right, Lou?
Same here, I do not.
Thank you. Recreation Committee, we had a meeting earlier this month. We talked about getting more information about Recreation Committee on the town website, possibly a separate page under the website, so people can make suggestions for activities. We're looking to get more activities in the town, recreation-wise. Also, at the planning board, a resident had a concern. She reached out to the zoning officer with some questions who wasn't responding, she mentioned, and as long as there's a way we can get the zoning officer to respond.
Did you leave a message, or did she?
She just said that she reached out and didn't get any response.
Are you emailing this person back? Is that,
I don't know, I mean, the person, if somebody has a question for the zoning officer, we can copy on it.
yeah.
So we can follow up as
If you
well.
copy me on it, I can follow up,
Okay.
and make sure that the person gets the answer.
Okay. That's all, Mayor, thank you.
All right, thank you. The only thing I have tonight is, we need to, authorize Beth to advertise for some staffing bills we have discussed in executive session. So, need a motion for that?
Motion.
Second.
Who was second?
Jim?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Council President Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Mengucci.
So, do you have any kind of council report at all?
No, I'll save all my stuff for next month. We've approved a lot of stuff that I can reach out to this executive meeting, so I'll have to answer a lot of questions for websites and all our video and stuff like that, we should put in next month. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
And we need authorization for the website contract after the attorney reviews it.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid?
Yes.
Councilman Guido?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Mizuko?
Yes. Paul?
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I wanted to report to you and the public is that I believe the Department of Transportation will take action on the grant applications sometime this month. So we should know by Thanksgiving where we stand. I feel very good about the application, which is for the second phase of the Bellevue Road work. So I believe we will be funded, and hopefully we find that out later this month.
Very, very good.
Thank you.
Chief, got anything for us?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Yeah, I have just a couple things in way of announcement. You may or may not have noticed utility work being done in the Delaware Park area. Aqua has contracted with Roman E&G. They have started replacing water lines in that area. I believe they gave me a number of around 1,800 residents that they're going to be doing this with throughout the township, but for the next 2 weeks or so, they're going to be concentrated into Delaware Park. We're going to try to keep up with that on our Facebook page to let you know day by day exactly where they're going to be working and what roads are going to be shut down. It'll be a daily adjustment. This will not affect anybody's mail delivery, garbage pickup, or anything, emergency services. The only thing that they won't be allowed to do is park temporarily on the street. So there won't be any road openings or anything like that. They're all on property, the dig sites. So that's going to be a moving thing, and they expect to be out there at least 3 months in town. An update on our overweight signage on our county roads. I did speak to the county administrator, Alex Zorsak, over the past couple of weeks, and they were inquiring about the verbiage and as well as the statutory language that goes along with this. That was all provided to them. They are actively looking to implement that countywide to move so that we can enforce statutes on the county roadways. So that's a step in the right direction. And lastly, we're going to be ramping up traffic enforcement in the area of Stonehenge Drive and Buckley Hill. We've had a lot of complaints. We had a bad accident out there most recently. A number of things contributed to that, as well as during rush hour in the AM and the PM, we're asking the community to please slow down, abide by the traffic laws. It's good for everybody, and it's common sense. So, stop signs, stay off your cell phone, slow it down, leave a couple minutes earlier in the morning. These are all things that are going to help out, as well as during school pickup. We're having issues with the congestion out there and the way people are picking up their kids. So just letting everybody know that we are going to be enforcing, and we're asking the community to help us out with that best they can. So that's my report, Mayor.
Certainly appreciate that. As I've told you many, many times, I think we have the finest police department in Warren County. You guys are out there, you're visible. When I'm out riding around, it's probably never seen cop cars. So, and also, thanks to you and your staff for Monday night trick or treat. They were out there. I think everybody had a great time. I was out here out candy myself. I was probably more of a hazard than stopping my truck in the middle of the road with kids' candy. So anyway, it was a great night. It's always a nice night to meet a lot of people, and obviously you guys were very visible, along with our fire department. So
Yes.
my thanks to all you guys for that.
It was a safe night. We do thank the fire department as well, because without them, it's they make it happen every year. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Need a motion to approve the department reports?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payment of bills?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilman McQueen?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Lukey?
Yes. Folks, questions, comments? Donna?
Donna Schneider, 26 Meadowview. I have a couple of things tonight, so please bear with me. Bridge, which if nobody knows in the audience, that is the warehouse that's going on the solar field, was given final approval at the last planning board meeting. What happens next? Do you guys does it come back to council, or is it's a done deal?
No, if they get final approval, then what they'll do is adopt the resolution normally what happens is they adopt the resolution at the next meeting, then that gets published. Whenever that's published, then the 45 days starts from which you can appeal, and then there's a number of conditions usually in anything, and they've got to comply with all those conditions. And there may be, state DOT permits, there may be a bunch of other things. I'm not familiar with it, but that's the general process.
Okay. Question. Can you tell me how they approved it, gave it final approval when they didn't have any sewer approval or DEP approval? How does that get approved without either one of those?
They might have made a condition of approval. I mean, I don't know, but I would say they would have had to have been a condition of approval if that's required.
That was a condition of the preliminary, and I wasn't at the meeting last week.
Right.
My colleagues was. I suspect that the board carried that condition and made it a condition of final also. And if they don't get the sewer approval, then they don't build.
Okay.
So the bottom line.
So they just can't start building, and then all of a sudden, oh, wait, Phillipsburg did not give them sewer approval.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'm the one with my colleagues and make sure all the conditions are addressed. So we don't allow anything to start construction until the conditions have been addressed. So we're gonna make sure they're all addressed before any work starts out there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Berry Plastics, we'll call it Berry Plastics because I don't know what it is now. So, I've been asking for quite some time what is going on at Berry Plastics. At the planning board meeting, Beth was good enough to give me some information finally, because the zoning officer certainly did not respond. You guys didn't seem to know, and apparently they're leasing it to someone. So,
They will be.
they will be, but currently, I don't know what's going on. There's still tons of trucks there, making lefts, making rights. I don't know who's in there. I don't know how they have approval with all these tractor trailers. It's definitely Berry.
Barry's in there
Okay.
operating until about June.
So Berry's there until June. And do they have all of the proper zoning and application, anything that's approvals to do what they're doing at the moment?
Memory serves me correctly, their approval occurred either in 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
And they had to get all their conditions addressed before they built that massive addition to the building, which they did. And they were able to build that and ultimately occupy it and operate out of there. So as long as they're operating in accordance with the resolution that was adopted by the board in 15 or 16, then there wouldn't be any zoning issues at this point.
Okay.
If another, occupant goes in there, they would have to obtain a zoning permit and show that they're entitled to that permit under the ordinance.
Okay. So all of those tractor trailers are allowed to go in and out of there, lefts and rights and whatever they are currently doing.
When the Berry Plastics approvals are granted, and I think it was 150,000 square foot addition to the building, it had some ancillary improvements associated with it, and one of it was the loading area that you can see from Stryker's Road in front of the building, where vehicles can enter the site and load and unload at those loading docks. So if they're doing that, that's in accordance with the approvals.
Okay. Do they have approval to store tractor trailers everywhere on the property as well?
I don't have the resolution in front of me. I would have to look at that, and I can get back to you on that.
Okay. Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Sure.
And also, were they approved for the amount of trucks that are coming in and out of there? Is that it? Was there a traffic study done for them when they did the addition?
There was a traffic study done.
There was. Okay.
There was.
Okay. I just want to make sure that all that was taken care of, because I can tell you, somebody needs to go there and do something. I was driving I was going across the train tracks, and apparently the trucks that come out of there, they're coming out and they're making a right. They don't feel they need to wait for the cars. So the truck came out and onto my side of the road, because obviously there's no room for those trucks to turn. And if I didn't swerve out of the way, the guy was just coming. He was just going to slam right into me. So it's a problem. It's a problem there. And trucks are trying to come in, trucks are trying to come out. They've never had that amount of traffic ever. So, something needs to be looked at there. It's just becoming a real danger. I do have two other issues. I don't know if you're going to allow me to say them. I know, I hate being timed. I really do. It's
Sure,
just,
Donna, take my time, it's okay.
it's, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. The redevelopment plan. Where do we stand with the redevelopment plan?
Yeah.
I think he needs more than 5 minutes, Donna.
At the moment, I don't have an answer for you.
Okay. So the planning board brought it back saying it's in accordance with the master plan. Right. So it currently only has warehouses and office space on it.
No, that's not true.
That's what it said on there.
I'll have to take a look at it.
Okay. It said warehouses and office space. That's all it says on there.
There's also some other proposals, so.
Okay. Okay. I just want to,
I do not have a full-blown answer for you. If I told you that I studied that verbatim, I'd be lying.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, I just, I'm really hoping, now that Bridge came, I'm sure NFI is gonna win the lawsuit against us. I know you can, I'm not asking you to, but, so we'll have 2, potentially 3 warehouses on Strikers Road. We have Bridge. Adding any to that mall, I don't, George Ritter is saying, well, Pohat wants it, so, we should, Pohat's really looking to do this. We are not here for Pohatcong. We're here for Lopatcong. And
That's gonna do whatever it is they.
absolutely, they are going to
We
do
can't
whatever they
control
want.
it.
That's right. We cannot, but we do not have to give our portion of the mall to warehouses or parking lots for warehouses. We have enough. Shouldn't be any more. I mean, really, I don't know how many more times to say the accidents, the warehouses, the garbage, it's the trucks parked everywhere. It's got to stop. It's just got to stop. I really implore you guys to not say yes to warehouses at that mall and behind the mall. It's just awful. It's just not right. It's just not right. Yeah, I'm hoping that is not a done deal and that we're not moving forward with that. However, I also realized from the planning board, Mr. Bryce, our attorney, told me that our ordinance does not hold water because it is not consistent with the master plan. So is that accurate?
That's the first I've heard of that.
Okay. He said,
Did you say that at the last meeting?
he absolutely did. He said, I told council, we made council aware, the planning board made council fully aware that our ordinance to ban warehouses is not consistent with the master plan, therefore it will not hold water.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the redevelopment, so the one banning warehouses. I will
Yes.
check that.
I'm
I don't
sorry,
know.
if I confused you, Mike, yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm easily confused. But I will check that. Obviously I didn't draft that ordinance, but I'll take a look at it.
Okay. Yeah, I hear so many different things when I came up here, and Katrina had said, yes, the warehouse, the new ordinance banning warehouses is for Strikers Road. Then she expanded and said it was for mostly Lopatcong. Then when I asked her about redevelopment, she said, we have an ordinance in place that's sound. That's not true. Redevelopment can be anything. And she did not specify
Redevelopment,
that.
you can do overlays, you can do a lot of stuff.
You can do anything
That
you
is-
want,
you're
right?
That is true. But you can also, and again, I shouldn't even comment on this because I didn't draft it and haven't seen it, but if you can still pass an ordinance that's valid, even if the planning board says we don't think it's consistent with the master plan, if you pass a resolution that says why you're going to pass it anyway. So, but I will take a look at that.
Yeah, Yeah, that would be great, because I'm hearing two very conflicting stories from two attorneys in the township, so,
Jim Price is a good term.
yeah, he is. So I just, it would be nice to know that. And lastly, short, Jake brake signs. When we asked about Jake brake signs, we were told it was illegal. But how does Greenwich have Jake brake signs? And you're the same attorneys.
I will just say that I gave them, good legal advice, they considered it, and they took the action they deemed appropriate.
Okay, all right.
And there are other towns, Hope Township, we represent as well, they have no Jake braking signs.
So they went
Same
against
advice.
attorney advice? Is that basically?
That's not what I said, I just said I gave them my advice, they considered it, and they took the action they deemed appropriate for their constituents. But
Okay.
I can't
I
can't
could
say
read,
more than
yes,
that.
I could read between the lines there, so yeah, okay. Okay, thank you for letting me speak longer, I appreciate it.
John?
John Betts, 225 Red School Lane, Brakely Gardens. I've been made aware there's going to be a rent moving board meeting, Lou and Jim, on the 17th of November. There are issues which I haven't looked at everything that's in conflict, but there are conflicting things in some of the new leases coming out, having to do with various things that are in conflict with the rent control ordinance. Question I have right now is, will I be able to just point blank come up and talk about them, or would you like to know about those ahead of time?
I gave somebody from Brady.
Yes, you did.
Stack up, so, I'd like them to fill out those complaint forms so they
Yes.
can be reviewed and addressed
Yes.
before the meeting, so we have something
Yes.
to look at.
Yes, they're,
So I
okay,
did give
Kayla.
them those papers.
Okay, Kayla, I saw one of those. There are certain issues that you can't fit on that paper, but on those papers.
Attach them, that's not a problem,
See.
any documentation approved.
Okay. Yeah. There's so many things in those leases, in the new leases coming out that are in conflict. And I don't know what's in them yet. I just received mine. I just received the document about a week ago or 4 or 5 days ago. And I started looking into it. That was the rent control ordinance. And I don't know everything that's in the leases. I haven't looked through the whole 97 pages yet, but as I find it, I put what I can find. And I'd like to be able to speak about some other things if necessary, after I look through the whole document, more closely. All right, thank you. And we'll see you on the 17th, 7 o'clock. Okay, thanks, Lou and Jim. Thanks, Kayla.
Start your 5 minutes again.
Oh.
Judy?
We have no minutes.
Bear with me. A day in a life as a resident in Lopatcong. Judy Liptak, 47 Kyle Drive. A crisp fall morning in rural Warren County brings with a light breeze blowing through the window, along with the distant sound of Jake brakes. Do I live next to a highway? No. The landscape is sprinkled with the morning fog and the glitter of sunlight, gently touching an array of colors along the hillside and the trees. The beauty of it all is breathtaking, until the sound of a Jake brake smacks me in the face into reality. As you embark on your commute, you check Waze to see which route is accident-free. As you consider your options, you play scenarios of safety in your head. Thanks to the overdevelopment of warehouses and the inundation of trucks in this area with an infrastructure that was not built for it, the commute is now 15 minutes longer. The road is littered with trucks parked in empty lots, blocking roadways and intersections, and parked on the sides of roads and along Route 22. You navigate a maze of mayhem as you zigzag your way through the obstacles, hoping and praying that you don't get blasted. No more pleasant commutes for us. Those days are long gone. At the end of the day, Waze is plugged in again for a new route. How does one make it back to Lopatcong safely? No more decompressing and relishing in the beauty of our area during our commute. Game on. Trucks, 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 and more trucks join you as you approach your exit. Finally, you turn down what should be a safe neighborhood road, only to see another truck barreling down the road where it does not belong. Thank goodness no children are crossing the streets. Thank you, all of you, for making this possible. Tonight, I find myself speechless as I stand before you. I'm completely disgusted to read the proposed redevelopment plan, which gives a green light for more warehouses to be built on the mall property and the beautiful farmland behind it, allowing for the continued destruction of farmland and overdevelopment of warehouses in this town and the area. Please spare me your excuses, because there are none, and there's no justification. You all have earned an Oscar for your performance, as you denied any knowledge of Cohocton's plans to build warehouses, and that you did not work with them on the redevelopment plans. I've seen our plans, and it's pretty ironic how exactly alike they are. Some of you stated a warehouse cannot be built at the mall, just a parking lot. Our own professionals stated no warehouse can be built there. Kudos for those smoke and mirror tricks. Misleading games started with the passing of a truck ordinance for parking. There's no enforcement for parking. An ordinance for warehouses. Now there's a green light for warehouses. More smoke and mirrors. It's a land grab when you hide behind deeming an area in need for redevelopment, then turn around and allow more warehouses to be built. This council's lack of ability to see beyond warehouses is irresponsible. To say the least, shame on you for what you are doing here. Your legacy will sure be memorable. Speaking of legacy, let's review some recent accomplishments. Massive warehouses, increased truck traffic, pollution, safety hazards, illegal truck stops and rests, stinking asphalt plant, dismantled rescue squad, non-functioning pool, trucks on neighborhood roads, only to name a few. Thank you for these, and the small decrease in our taxes this year. In September, the New Jersey Planning Commission adopted distribution warehouse guidelines, something I've asked this council about. When I asked, I got shoulder shrugs. Sad. An example of how these plans are being used by a well-functioning council. Hillsborough Township is using them to protect its community. They will use the plans to develop a proactive and comprehensive approach to land use master plan, their zoning, and project review procedures, and will continue to update their community as new information is available. Wow, what an outstanding practice that is. Amazing how a competent and well-functioning community of leaders can help to protect and enhance a community instead of working in secrecy to destroy one. I continue to be stunned by the haphazard decisions by this council. I've heard many attempted justifications, some at this table and others outside. Whomever has your puppet strings, I hope this council cuts them quickly so they can see clearly and protect this community before there's carnage on your hands. To that end, if the leaders here are serious about protecting our community while attracting positive business, please evaluate those New Jersey warehouse guidelines. Make the necessary changes, and for goodness sake, stop building warehouses. Here's a copy, if you didn't get them. Got them? Read them?
Nope. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Hey.
Harvey Waters, 325 South 3rd Street. I just have a simple question. Does anyone up here know how many warehouses are proposed for Lopatcong Township at this time?
One that I know of.
One. Any in litigation?
No.
Where in Lopat is this proposed for?
The
What you said, one.
Where the solar field is now, Stryker's Road.
They're gonna tear that down?
Turn that down. Yes.
Okay.
John?
John Ketcherson, 38 Jade Lane. I'd like to voice my disappointment regarding the redevelopment plans for the Petersburg Mall and the farm field behind it. Not only am I disappointed that the plans are to add mega warehouses number 4 and 5 to our tiny 7 square mile town, but also the deception by this council regarding the plans for these properties. This council has denied and misled the public, representing that warehouses can't be built there, that they were not working with Lopatcong on the redevelopment plans, and council had no idea what was in the redevelopment plans. As part of the denials, council even tried to dismiss information presented to them regarding warehouses as coming from social media. I attended Lopatcong council meetings and was told by Mayor Slack that he was working with Mayor Mengucci on redevelopment plans. When this information was presented to this council, the result was blank stares and more denials that warehouses can be built on a Lopatcong side of these properties. Yet at the planning board meeting, George Ritter presented Lopatcong's redevelopment plans for these properties, which consists of potential warehouses. By the way, the Lopatcong redevelopment plan definitely has warehouses, and they were working together, so it's going to be warehouses. The planning board, including 2 members of this council, voted unanimously that warehouses align with the town's master plan. Not only does this allow the 2 mega warehouses to be built, but it gives NFI firm ground to stand on to sue Lopatcong to allow them to build. How can Lopatcong represent they don't want warehouses when they build them on properties that they're responsible for the type of development? When attending the Lopatcong council meeting, their council was open and honest with their zeal to build warehouses on the mall property and farmland behind it. Their reasoning is that their roads and citizens are already suffering from the warehouses being built in the towns around them, and they may as well get some tax revenue. While this may seem a ridiculous reason to destroy prime farmland, let's solve the problem by adding to the problem. They're open and honest with their answers to the public, which is a sharp contrast to what we've been experiencing with this council. It's been nothing but deception and denials. Denials of any knowledge of plans to build warehouses on the redevelopment properties, denials that warehouses can be built there, and denials of the issues already brought to Lopatcong by the already built warehouses, including truck traffic, illegal parking, and garbage. The council can take a lesson from Lopatcong. Sadly, although the mall and farmland can be developed into anything the mayor and council wants, you're going to choose warehouses. Why you still have the opportunity to vote against warehouses on these properties, I hold little hope this will happen. As part of the redevelopment process, this council commissioned a study to determine which properties should be included as redevelopment properties. The study concluded that the farmland behind the mall should be preserved as a buffer against environmental impact of sprawl development. The question has been asked to this council multiple times how building a warehouse on this land, the warehouse will be 80% in Lopatcong, aligns with the study's recommendation. Past answers were always denials that a warehouse can be built there. Now that the truth is out, we know that the council wants to build a warehouse to be built on this land. Let's ask the question again. How does a warehouse align with the study's recommendation that the farmland be preserved as a buffer against the environmental impact of sprawl development? What plans do the mayor and council have for the other properties they determined to be in need of redevelopment along the 22 corridor? Will it be support facilities for warehouses and trucks, such as already happening outside of permitted zoning use? Will it be fast food, convenience stores, truck-centric gas stations typically found in areas of high warehouse concentrations? About a year ago, the public started asking this council about the illegally operating truck stops on a Twilight parking lot and the Petersburg heavy truck repair lots. At the December council meeting, Bill Wright stated Twilight had been issued a summons and they were going to take a look at the truck repair business. It is now nearly a year later, and while the number of trucks in Twilight has dwindled, it was 7 tonight, they're still operating as a truck stop. There's more trucks in the Petersburg heavy truck repair lot than ever. Despite claims by this council, they've been told they must cease these operations. In Greenwich, trucks had been parking in the defunct SMP lot, but swift and effective action had been taken. Every now and then, a truck will park in this lot, but they're only there for a short duration, presumably because law enforcement moves them along. A couple of years ago, Lopatcong took action against citizens whose children had basketball hoops in the street outside their homes. Lopatcong is also currently taking action against citizens who have the audacity to have trees with low-hanging branches near sidewalks. While this may be a minor annoyance to taller people walking through the neighborhood, it would seem Lopatcong has their priorities misaligned when it takes such quick action against their citizens but allow illegal truck stops to continue operations. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments?
Took her 5 minutes. Donna took her 5 minutes.
Who said that?
Donna took your 5
I'll
minutes.
only take a few. Is that okay?
You got mine.
Thanks, Leanne.
No problem.
Well, you said you got my 5 minutes.
Yes, you're so welcoming on this, my first time here. I'm 63 Beer Street, Kara Salaki. I just wanted to say that I'm really appreciative of some people in the community who are communicating to others what we might not be able or have time to spend researching and learning about. Some of my colleagues in the community and I have focused a little bit more on the school system, as some people may know, in the last couple of years. But I have 4 kids, one who I have to send out of district for high school now due to the high school and their issues. But what I'm hearing tonight, and what I can assure you is that, and what I have said many times at board meetings, is that not all people in this community are ignorant, and it is becoming a growing problem. And what I'm hearing tonight, even with not just the rude comment that was just made, what was like the lack of answers, is that it will continue to grow. And we had some successes at the school because we knew how to communicate wrongdoing. And as an attorney, I'm sure you know, wrongdoing always comes and finds you. And so I'm just thankful to be here tonight. And for my children, for my community, and for my family in their best interest, I will continue to communicate that to people I know so that this room becomes more and more filled, because I'm sure that's what you ultimately want, is people to come and take a stake in what's happening in their backyards and in their neighborhoods, and to begin to identify where there's relationships and where those relationships may have impact on my children and their well-being and who's running the schools. So thank you for giving me your 5 minutes, Leanne. I appreciate it, and I will be here again.
Anyone else, questions, comments? Yes, sir.
Robert Bruce, 11 Harwich Road. I only have questions. Respectfully ask that the clock be stopped while you're answering them, if you choose to do so. The smell of asphalt coming from the plant on Strikers Road has been awful lately. From what I understand, there should never be any smell coming from the facilities or trucks themselves. Who did the residents contact to put in a complaint?
Contact the municipal building. We send our zoning officer out, or building inspector, checks if there's anything that's not right there.
Yeah, or the NJDEP, if there's smells emanating from that, I would go right to the
I
DEP.
think it's the county health department. I'm gonna open the resolution right now. I have it on my computer, and I'll get you an answer, sir.
Yeah.
I'll get you an answer right now.
Okay. Continuing, and this is something maybe directed to the chief of police, regarding truck enforcement on local roads. On Halloween night, right before the trick-or-treating, 2 full-size tractor trailers and 3 dump trucks went down Red School Lane, all in a short period of time. What enforcement of tractor trailers and dump trucks on prohibited roads can you institute?
I think that's what we're working on right now, so that we can enforce those laws.
Okay.
For overweight vehicles that are coming out to our local roadways.
Okay, so that is part of the ordinance that was passed tonight, that Red School? Okay. Very good, thank you. Truck enforcement for the warehouse on Strikers Road. Trucks are still turning left towards 57. Can we put a camera to take pictures and gather plate numbers? Or a concrete barrier or something to stop them from making that left? Again, this is an enforcement issue. What can we do? What can you do?
I'll talk to the owner's rep, who has worked with me on addressing a number of issues, including the Porta-John issue last winter, earlier this year. So I'll talk to him about this, but this is continuing to be a problem.
I get a suspicion that they might be repeat offenders, although, absent cameras and such evidence, I don't know. And if we have evidence of repeat offenders brought to the person you're gonna contact, perhaps they can take action beyond just, they can ban guys from being there. Okay, that's one person. It's kind of a repeat of a question. How does a warehouse on farmland behind the mall, with the study recommendation that it be preserved as a buffer against the environmental impact of spoil development, how can that align? How can we consider a warehouse on a farmland behind the mall when it was recommended that it be preserved?
Well, if you have a redevelopment zone, it's like an overlay zoning, and then that's gotta be approved by the DCA, so you can do it. I think your question's more rhetorical, but when you do a redevelopment zone, it's an overlay of the zoning, so that's how you can do it.
Again, there was a recommendation that it be preserved as a buffer, and it seems like the answer is you're not considering that.
Well, no, I'm just explaining and trying to answer your question, but you can disagree and say it shouldn't be, but I'm just telling you that you can.
Okay. Are there any plans that the mayor and this council have for other properties that they've determined to be in need of redevelopment along the 22 corridor? Will it support facilities for warehouses and trucks, such as already happening outside of permitted zoning use, illegal truck stops? Will it be fast food convenience stores and truck-centric gas stations typically found in areas of high warehouse concentrations? Besides the mall, what are your plans? What do you treat, what do you want?
We haven't been given any proposals on anything yet, right? There were 21 parcels, I believe, in that redevelopment plan, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. I'm basically just trying to balance being told that we have an ordinance against warehouses and we want to do a redevelopment plan, but, whatever gets proposed, it could be supporting truck stops. If I have two questions for the police chief in addition, one of which you addressed, which was that accident, without getting into a debate as to whether the driver was speeding. They hit a parked vehicle and flipped their car. They could have hit a pedestrian. It could have been a fatality. Would you comment on whether the driver was issued a citation? And if you can't, why not?
No, that could be disclosed in public record. I believe the driver was issued a summons specifically for what I don't know offhand, but yeah.
Okay, thank you on that. And then the other one is about that state property on 57. We've had instances where a low-cop police car drove through the intersection driving westbound while a truck was there but didn't stop. Are your officers not issuing tickets for trucks illegally parked along that road? Is it because they can't, because it's state property?
Actually, I stopped there and moved the truck along today. So whenever we see a truck parked there, we have them move along or issue a summons, whatever's appropriate.
Okay, so similar to what Greenwich did at the SMP lot, we can get enforcement on people doing that.
Yeah, they're not to be parking there.
Okay, thank you for answering my questions and thank you.
Just to get back to you on your
Yeah,
question,
yes.
a recommendation is that you contact the health department regarding the odor issue.
Okay.
There is reference in the resolution going back to 2012 about the health department conducting periodic inspections during the course of each year while the plant is in operation to verify compliance with air and noise regulations. The resolution actually references the need to enter into an agreement with the Warren County Health Department. My recollection is the health department declined to enter into that agreement, but would conduct inspections as needed if there were complaints. So that would be my recommendation, is to, based on the way this resolution was adopted, is to contact them if you believe there's issues with odors right now with this plant. So,
Very good, thank you very much.
you're very welcome.
Anyone else, questions, comments? Seeing none, motion to adjourn?
No, I have something to say, Jim.
All right, go ahead.
You know, I find it very offensive that some people come in here and attack us, right, me personally, okay, that our strings are being pulled. I'm very offended with that. And to say that I'm rude, just to repeat what you said, Don, you can have my 5 minutes, and I just repeat what you said, that's rude. Listen, I'll tell you right now where I stand. But the biggest complaint in this town I hear is taxes. And people, okay, in some cases, a lot of cases, it becomes unaffordable to live in town. So I will support, okay, anything that will help maintain and balance our taxes in this town. Our taxes on average came down $400 per household. And yet we still raised, what, 2 cents last year, okay? We'll be working on the budget for next year. And there's a big health increase coming up. Guess who's gonna pay for that? So I will support, so you know now where I stand as far as to bring business in this town. I came from Linden, okay? You wanna talk about industry? Strikers Road is an industrial,
This isn't
okay?
that county, that's the problem.
No,
It's not that county.
No, I'm talking, okay? I'm
Yeah, you are,
talking.
but you're referencing.
Please,
everything
No, I am referencing you guys.
Yeah.
And let me talk,
I
okay? So I've been living here for 25 years, and I've seen the growth in this town. And I support business. Any type that will help
It's
reduce
destroying
taxes.
the town.
It's not destroying anything. Listen, I travel the roads. I don't see all these trucks and people complain. I travel 22 and Strikers Road.
We all do.
Okay.
I live on it. I live
You
on
live
it.
where?
And I see it every day. 695. I see it every day. Not only do I see it every day,
22.
I see tractor trailers all throughout my community back there. So your little industrial area is affecting the residential area down.
Well,
the rest of that
those
road.
areas will have to be addressed as far as the enforcing.
But if we didn't have the warehouses, we wouldn't need that, would we?
You got one warehouse right now.
One, and how many?
Okay, the other ones has been there. They've been there. Nothing changed there. Listen, the Captain Plastic's been there for years. That's nothing new. And those other ones that come out of there. Listen, that was designed years ago for the industrial park. What else do you think is gonna go there?
Isn't the solar panel farm being slated for another warehouse?
It is.
Number 2 on that road, correct?
That is correct.
There we go,
Yeah,
right?
but it has not been approved
This
as a
is
sewer.
much smaller town. This is not Linden. This is Lopatcong.
I know what it is.
This isn't that. This is Warren County.
I'm telling you where I came from, all right, and what I'm used to.
You know, I'm not from here either. I am from down where you are. But you know what? I appreciate the world
And so do I.
And I don't want to see it destroyed.
But you know what's more important to me right now?
It's jeopardizing the safety of everybody on these roads.
Hold on one second. You know what's more important to me right now? With the high inflation, the high energy cost, okay? And now, so I want to help people to minimize the taxes, because you know why? You know who's not doing it? Is the schools. They never lower their property, their taxes, never. The county has done it, we've done it, all right, by bringing businesses, but the schools they always increase taxes. That's where your biggest burden of taxes are. So I want to do the best I can, we want to do, to help, okay, the residents of this town from moving out of this town. Because maybe one day.
They're moving now.
I know that.
They're moving now. Nobody wants to live in a town.
And not only, they're moving because of taxes, okay? No, they're not moving.
I think what you guys should do is come out into the community, meet everybody, see where everybody's
Listen.
perspective is coming from. I didn't know any new people to this moment right now, because I'm sick and tired of all this goddamn warehouses. Clearly, somebody's pocket is getting paid,
See,
right?
and that's it, and that's offensive, okay?
It's offensive when I'm driving.
Our pockets being lined.
And I'm surrounded by tractor
Our pockets being lined. Who's this Kevin Moran? Who's this Kevin Moran from Overlook to say the council's pockets are being lined? You know what? I have every right to sue him. So if you know him, send him the message for defamation. Because you're saying that pocket's being lined. You have proof, you have evidence, you have anything? Because you'll be on that list as well.
No problem.
That's highly offended by that.
I'm
That our
offended. I'm
streets,
offended that the people I vote for are going against what I want and are building continuous warehouses in this town.
there are some things
I find
that,
that offensive.
listen, there's some things we can't
My
control
children's
because of lawsuits.
is at risk.
Okay.
Because in the car, I have to worry about where I drive because I'm surrounded by tractor trailers no matter where I go.
Do you understand that we get sued all the time? And you know what it costs money to defend a lawsuit? The asphalt plant, over $500,000, and it still went through. We had to defend it. And I don't see, listen, I haven't seen one asphalt truck there. I haven't. I go down Strikers Road. Well, I don't listen, I don't know, listen, you know what they were saying? They were saying at the time, 200 trucks a day. Okay, where is it 200? All right, listen, there's exaggeration in a lot of things. That's all I got to say.
There's a motion on the table for adjournment.
You all know where I stand.
I second it.
All in favor? All right, folks, thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Good night, Bill. Yes.